Hey guys, welcome back to our weekly character review. This is Jared. Today we're going to be looking at Ultron, kind of going over more characters from the core set. With me, as always, is Brad and Brandon. And again, as always, we are using CerebroMCP.com to look at this card as well as the tactics card associated with Ultron. So if you guys aren't signed up and you're not using Cerebro, if you have an iPhone, even if you don't have an iPhone, feel free to get on there and just make an account. Super easy. But enough about all that. Brad, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, man, doing good. Just enjoying the weekend.
Nice. All right. Well, a little bit of hobby talk for the week. I did actually, I'm actually painting up Brandon's Kingpin, so that's exciting. So
That's
hopefully,
exciting for me as well.
yeah, hopefully I get that to you this Wednesday. Um, what about you guys? What have you guys kind of been doing hobby wise for the week?
Go ahead, Brandon.
I've been pretty nonchalant. I've been building some of the X-Force characters that I bought. Uh, I got a little bit of a backlog now. I got all the new X-Men that came out and picked up Dormammu, so been just slowly piecing those guys together.
Nice. I didn't know you picked up
I've
Dormammu.
Yeah, I got him, and then it was like everyone was playing him when I picked him up, and I was like, we'll just give it a little bit. And then now that not everyone's playing him locally, I'm like, I might be able to throw him out there. So we'll see what happens.
Fair enough. What about
I've
you?
been building some of Brandon's models for a different game.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot. Yeah, you are doing that, aren't you? How's that going for you?
I don't know how I was conned into doing this.
You're just a nice guy.
I'm just a really good negotiator. It's really what it came down to.
All right. Well,
Everyone's gonna watch this video and think I'm like the laziest human ever because one person's
one
painting my
person.
model, the other person's
The other
building
one's
my
building.
model.
Yeah, yeah. You're definitely a player. You're not necessarily a deep hobby guy. So
I got too much ADHD to sit down and
uh,
building's not as terrible. Painting is rough. I because every time I get into like painting or anything, I become very like perfectionist, and I don't
You
have the
got you gotta
talent.
let that go.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
can
gotta get
promise
there.
you that you made the correct choice in passing off your stuff to Brad to build, because you don't like to build your MCP minis, so I can imagine.
Yeah.
Just for reference for anybody listening, we're talking about House Escher for
Um,
Necromunda. So those
all their
things
head,
are crazy.
all their heads are two pieces.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Their
I'm out.
their hair and their face are two different pieces.
Yeah.
No, I'm out.
Yeah, no,
Super out.
you made the right call. That's 100% right choice.
Oh man.
All right, well, let's get into Ultron. So looking at him, you can see that we already have the new updated card posted to Cerebro. That got released back in the changes in November. Ultron received some of the updates that we've seen a lot of characters receive. So kind of going over stats. Ultron, he's 4 physical defense, 3 energy defense, 4 mystic defense. He has 6 stamina, 4 threat, size 3, and a medium move. He has the just a strike, except his is a range 2 6 dice strike instead of a lot of the characters' usual 5s. After this character is resolved, he gains a flat 1 power. He has Energy Blast, which is range 4 5 dice. After this attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to the damage dealt, with a Wild Incinerate now added onto it. So after the attack is resolved, character gains the Incinerate special condition. Very good. He has the Metallic Fury Spender, range 3 physical, 7 dice, 3 power cost. Before choosing a target, this character may choose whether the type is physical or energy with a Wild Bleed. So after the attack is resolved, character gains Bleed. He has the active superpower Kinetic Field Generator, costing 3. Choose an interactive terrain feature size 4 or less within range 3 and throw it medium. This superpower can only be used once per turn. And then he has 3 passive superpowers. All will be metal. When defending against mystic attacks, count each wild result in the defense roll as 2 successes. He has Analyze and Annihilate. While attacking, this character may reroll one of its attack dice for each crit in the opposing defense roll. I believe this used to cost power, and now it is just free, so very good there. He also has Flight and then immunity to Bleed and Poison. Going over to his injured side, we don't really see any changes other than his stamina does drop down 1 health. So I feel like you can't really talk about Ultron without going over his specific tactic card, just to kind of put him in, just kind of put him in a pool of everything that he's got going on. So we'll go ahead and look at Age of Ultron really quick. This is a Ultron specific tactics card. It's unaffiliated. As long as you bring Ultron, you can use it. It is reactive, and it is if Ultron is KO'd, he may spend 8 power to play this card before removing the miniature from the battlefield. Ultron is not removed from the battlefield. Instead, he removes all special conditions, flips his card to healthy, removes all damage, drops all objective tokens, and may be placed within 3 of his current location. So, it's pretty much, if you kill Ultron, you got to kill him twice. So, very strong card. But kind of going back and just looking at Ultron's card, I think that he looks pretty good, especially after a lot of the updates. Having the choice between 6 dice just flat builder, so if you really just need to generate 1 power for yourself, having a flat builder as well as a damage power equal to damage dealt builder is, I think, very, very good. Add on to that this attack is essentially Cable's attack, except just 1 range less. Wild Incinerate on a 5 dice attack is pretty good. And then Metallic Fury, being able to choose your damage type, is also really good. And looking at Kinetic Field Generator, being able to throw a size 4 piece of terrain is strong. Being able to throw a piece of terrain within 3 is also very strong. And then being able to throw it medium is very strong. All 3 of these, both the size of the terrain, the range, the throw medium, all those are exceptional for a character with a terrain throw. There's not a lot of characters that can kind of match that. And then both with the Midnight Sun releases as well as the Convocation, there we go. A lot of mystic attacks becoming prevalent in the game. Having a 4 dice defensive roll against Mystic that also counts your wilds as 2 successes is it's pretty good. So those are my thoughts. I think all around with his changes, and especially when you add in just the Age of Ultron on top of everything that he can do, I think that they've kind of really turned him into a pretty solid 4-threat piece. But I'll pass it over to you guys and see what you guys think. We'll start with you, Brad. What do you think?
Ultron might be my favorite set of rules on a character that I'm not currently playing.
Okay.
He's not in any of my lists, but every time I look at him, every time I think about him, I'm tempted to throw him in somewhere. Incinerate's great. The throw is good, as you said. The Mystic defense thing is really cool. Flight, being immune to bleed and poison, that's when it's relevant, especially since we just learned that poison works differently than we thought it did.
Yeah, finally learning how to play the game.
Well, they did change the timing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I really like him. I think he's pretty decent all around. And that tactics card, one of the best tactics cards in the game, like character specific tactics cards. There's really very few ways around it. One of which is Mystique.
That is true. Yep.
Finish him off with Mystique, he can't come back.
Well, what about you, Brandon? What do you think?
I love Ultron. I think it's a really sweet character. I actually pulled up the old card just to see all the changes.
Mm-hmm.
He got 2 extra dice on his strike. It used to only be 4 dice.
Oh, okay, nice. I missed that one.
The Incinerate is new. It always gained, and the Analyze and Annihilate used to cost 2 power. And those changes, and he used to only be able to throw size 3 terrain. So the changes, all in all, took Ultron from borderline unplayable to a 4-threat model you can splash in any list, and it's probably an auto and include in any Cabal list. And I think he fits very well in a lot of other factions. especially ones that just need him, like that aren't super stuck on like they have to have the 5 tactics cards because as you mentioned, you always really kind of want to bring Age of Ultron. And as someone who's played a decent amount of Ultron, that card alone just makes people never really want to attack him. So he can kind of just sit around and just blast people. And it's with the medium base, medium move, like he gets to where he wants to be. Size 3 prevents, some people from being able to throw him, some people not being able to push him. Uh, he really is just there, and he can cause a lot of problems. And then if you do get to kill him, as long as you played correctly, odds are he's just coming right back.
Yeah, having that card on the table is just it plays such mind games with your opponent.
Yeah.
And I've played obviously against you several times, and you run Ultron, and I've played against some other people around our local shop when they played Ultron, and I mean you have to be able to deal with him, otherwise he's just sitting on objectives, and I mean he has a pretty good attack suite, a 6 dice strike, a 5 dice with incinerate, uh, throwing 7 dice spenders that he can pick the damage type, throwing terrain at you. Like he does a lot of work, and anytime that you hit him, it just feels bad because you know what's coming. So
You
uh,
put a lot into him just to do it all over again.
yeah. So a couple ways if you guys are happening to play against Ultron. To Brad's point, playing Mystique is a very good kind of anti-Ultron tech. You want to explain that, Brad, a little bit? Why that is?
Her shapeshifter ability does not allow uh, the target of her attacks to use reactive. Well, not even just her attacks. During her activation, you can't use reactive superpowers or cards or tactics cards.
Yep.
So it gets around anything like that, like Ghost Rider's card, that sort of thing.
And she's also very good because, again, for Age of Ultron, you need 8 power. So if you're able to land a stun on him, which Mystique actually
Yeah,
stuns before the damage is dealt,
yeah,
stunning him is a very good way to control him. Because if you can manage to catch him without that power, or if the Ultron players happen to spend a lot of his power in one turn, and he's not sitting on enough where if you would KO him, he would have the 8 power to do it. That's essentially how you deal with him. But stunning him, and again, Mystique stuns before she does damage with her spender. Stun is a very good way to kind of control him if you see him across the table. But if you don't have any of that, or you don't have Mystique, he can be a real challenge.
there's a few other things like Deadpool can strip power off,
Yep.
and Rogue can strip power off. I might be forgetting someone, and those can make a difference too.
Yep.
If the Ultron player is spending power and riding that razor's edge.
Well, try something a little bit new here. So if you guys were to play a roster and it was a roster that you were actually interested in, what affiliation do you think that you would kind of splash Ultron in? Like if you're going to go to our local store this Wednesday, which is our play night, and you're going to bring a roster or an affiliation, and you were like, I'll splash Ultron in this week. What affiliation do you think that you would try to take him in? I think Cabal's an obvious one, but one that you guys are specifically interested in playing.
Brandon, now's a good time to talk about the
Should
list
I,
you actually played him in.
should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I play Ultron in my Midnight Suns list, and I love it. I was really looking for another 4-point character. I mean, obviously, Blade and Voodoo are auto includes, but in the lower point games, I wasn't having too much success with Voodoo in some of the lower point games. Kind of the ones up the middle, Gamma. Um, if you get even if you get stuck on say demons, but you get stuck with a lower point count. Um, Having Ghost Rider and Ultron on the table at the same time, especially on like Gamma, is it's real good. It's real good, and it's one of those that it puts the opponent. It's kind of what you mentioned. It's a huge mental game, and it's one of those where I don't have to do a whole lot in that scenario. but it makes the opponent really consider going, after, do we go after Ghost Rider? Do you go after Ultron, knowing that they're going to be in your face, and they both can hit really, really hard, and they're both in your face going at it. And then if with Ghost Rider being the bigger threat, if they're not, paying enough attention or haven't seen the interaction, you can deal with the Devil Ultron to Age of Ultron, bringing back both characters fully healthy, or maybe Ghost Rider injured, but Ultron fully healthy if they were both injured, if they did put a lot of work into both of them. That interaction has been really useful. It's really solid because of the changes to Ultron. That's not something that would even been considered prior to the changes, but now it's real helpful. And he has seen a ton of play for me in that roster, and I've never had him on the table and be like, oh man, I wish this was someone else. He's pretty well always done the Lord's work for me, so I don't really have any complaints for it.
I have had the privilege of playing against that list against you, and there's not many games in MCP where I feel like I need to lay down and take a nap after, but I think that was trying to wrap my head around both of them coming back was one of them. So
yeah, it really puts a mental strain on the opponent that I don't think is ever really considered prior to. So it's a little bit of.
What about you, Brad? What kind of list do you think that you would kind of splash him in and play?
So the two lists I've considered dropping him in and just picked other options instead so far were X-Men and X-Force. I'm going to start with X-Force. So he has, like you said, a very cable-like gun. And so that gives you another long-range energy incinerate attack. And if you can put out some incinerates in X-Force, you can kill everybody. That's him. And then in X-Men, for a completely different reason. So I like his staying power for X-Men. I tend to play them a lot more objective oriented. So his staying power on those objectives is pretty good. And then he's good tech when Jason was playing Convocation. I really considered dropping him in there because of the I Will Be Metal, Wilds counting double on Mystic attacks. And he just didn't quite make it in, but he's always in my mind. And I'm thinking, do I need to replace someone?
Okay. If I probably were going to splash him in something, I think I would actually splash him in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh, that's a good choice.
He hits pretty good. He's very easily splashed in, and you still get a lot of the good characters that you want. And Guardians runs a lot of really good cheap characters, so if they do happen to kill Ultron because you have him on like a middle gamma, or you have him kind of deep in your enemy's lines, you got Nebula to kill if you need somebody. You have a lot of good cheap characters that are good picks for Age of Ultron. So, and he's pretty good with winning at token. 6 dice with 2 rerolls, 7 dice with 2 rerolls. I think that he would probably fit in there pretty good. So,
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's Spasa.
all right, so kind of moving on to our next little segment, giving him a rating. So we'll start with you again, Brad. What do you think on our traditional scale that Ultron would probably fall on after his reworks?
B plus.
Was that a B?
Yeah, B plus.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. That was quick and concise. I love it.
If Brad said D plus, I would have drove to his house and fought him. I'm just being real honest.
B as in boy, not D as in doy.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you picked Doy.
Yeah, it's like, and for some reason Jared heard D plus, and I was just like, in my head, I was like, I'll go fight Brad right now. Like, I don't.
No, B plus.
Yeah.
B plus. And I really thought about the A, but
Yeah.
he's very solid piece.
All right, what about you, Brandon?
All right. I'm gonna go out on a little bit of a limb here. I actually believe he is the second best model in the core box. Um,
Okay.
with that being said, I want that on the record because I do think, just as a flat out model, I think he's very good. I'm gonna give him an A. I'm gonna give him an A, and for and you're gonna be like, well, Brandon, you already gave another model in the core box an A, and there's another model that we haven't even went over yet that's probably better than both of them, and that is correct. The previous model that I gave an A was Captain America,
Mhm.
and he mostly got that A because of how good his leadership is.
Yep.
You take that leadership away from Captain America, I do believe Ultron's a better model.
Okay.
Um, I do think from top to bottom, I think it's just, and I think there's good argument, but I think the Age of Ultron card is so good and you can put him in so many lists. Something we had talked about with Captain America is that he doesn't really splash super well, or isn't really considered when you're splashing models. I think Ultron is considered, and I think he can fit in really, really well with other affiliations, possibly a little bit better than Captain America. You can yell at me in the comments, feel free. My takes are my takes, and I will defend them profusely. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a solid A. I think he's great.
All right.
Before Jared goes, I would like to cut in just to say I'm changing my answer to an A.
Oh, did he sell you on it?
I was already kind of leaning that direction. It didn't take much.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll hard sell anybody. We can make it happen.
Oh, geez, both of you guys today. He is very good. He's very durable. His Age of Ultron card is obnoxious. um,
Come on, Jared. You were the holdout on Captain America. Are you really going to do this again?
I might.
I
The,
think
the the two things that are holding me back from him are that he, which he doesn't need it. He's so offensive. I was gonna say him not having any sort of character displace, no like no pushes, no, you can't throw characters. That holds me back a little bit. Ah, I was feeling really confident with my B plus, and then you went and changed it on me.
yeah, but he can also throw the fist trailer into somebody. So that's
He can. There's not too many four threat characters that can do that. Are there any, am I missing
range
something?
range three medium throw is actually kind of disgusting.
Are there any other four threat characters that can throw size four?
Yes.
Rogue.
Rogue. Okay, yep.
Well, not just Rogue. Black Dwarf can also throw size four.
Ah, correct. Yep.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
Black Dwarf, but his is
See,
only range
the
2 instead of 3, so it is
and
not.
so is Rogue's. Rogue's is only range 2.
So
And
Ultron's is
she
strictly better.
throws it short, I think.
Yeah, him throwing a medium is is
You can
is nuts.
Yeah, him and Dwarf throw
you can
medium. I believe Rogue's is uh, small or short. I will always call it small. That's my apology. I'm trying to pull it up real quick. It
uh,
is a short throw.
you can tell that we play different things when I immediately thought of Rogue and and Brandon immediately thought of Black Dwarf.
It is a medium throw. Interactive terrain size 4 or less within 2 throws at medium. So they
Oh,
all
she
three
throws
throw
at
at
me.
medium. Yeah,
But
they all throw
you're
through at medium, but only one of them is above range 2, which is pretty
jeez.
important.
Yeah, that range three throws. Like I use that every time I play Doc Ock. I'm like, wow, his throws range three. It's so good. Ah, I wish that he.
Picking your attack type is also really good.
Yeah, it's super strong. He's a very offensive piece. I guess with all that offense, I don't need
He
the
has,
character
but he
push.
has defense too, because he's not that easy to take down. And then when you do, he just is
He
full
build
health
up.
again.
He just comes right back.
That's
I,
why he doesn't have a displace. If he had a displace, he'd be broken.
yeah, you're right. I am missing that, or maybe even something. No, he doesn't probably need that either. He's good. I'm gonna go A minus. I'm gonna go A minus. I'm gonna bump it up one tier from where I was. So
Full hard sell. First model we're all giving an A to.
A minus for me. So two A's, A minus. All in all, good character. I think if you buy the core set, especially with the updated changes to Ultron. I don't think that you're going to regret having him in the box. I think that he's a good piece.
You're gonna regret building him. It's a terrible
Yeah.
build.
He's a good looking model. He's a little finicky looking at the instructions to figure out how to put together, but yeah, good piece, good model. All in all, we all think pretty highly of him, especially after these changes. So if you're just getting into the game, like I said, picking up the core set, I think that you'll be pretty pleased putting him on the table. He's extremely good in Cabal. I mean, that's what his only affiliation is, but he's exceptional in it.
He also
So,
does work when you're playing the core set against each other.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you also have the core set and you have this model, you also have the piece to help you play the ultimate encounter, which is a lot of fun. We've had the privilege of playing that, and it's good. It's difficult for the good guys to win, but it's a pretty fun one. So, well, all right, looking about an A for Ultron. So if we can kind of give our stamp of approval there on him, we'll kind of move on to our last bit, which is the comic books. If you're wanting to find a good spot to read about Ultron in any of the comics, I believe Brad has the hookup for us. So what do you got for us today?
Yeah, I've got two suggestions. Both of these I have read. I didn't suggest anything I haven't read this time. The first is Annihilation Conquest. This is by Dan Abnett. If you read other people's fiction, you know who Dan Abnett is. And Andy Lanning. And there's a lot of artists because it's told in 5 different series, and then there's some one-shots. So I didn't list out all the artists. But Ultron is leading a phalanx army through space, taking over territory. This is the storyline where the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of form at the end of it. And that series takes off after this. All of the Abnett and Lanning cosmic stuff is amazing. So this is a good storyline. You won't regret reading it. You'll probably want to read more of their stuff after it because it's very good.
Okay.
The other one is Age of Ultron. This is Brian Michael Bendis, and it's there's a couple artists in here, but the main two are Brian Hitch and Brandon Peterson. It takes place. It starts in a future where Ultron has already won and taken over the world, and he's killed most of the heroes, and he's hunting down the last few. And those heroes are trying to figure out what they need to do to stop Ultron. Some think that they should go back in the past. Some think that they should skip to the future when his guard's down because they've disappeared and try to take him out then. Wolverine decides that he's going to go back in time and kill Ultron's creator, Hank Pym.
Oh.
And so he does. And that does not make things better. And there's lots of twists and turns. It's mostly pretty good. If you like Wolverine, there's a lot of Wolverine in there. Obviously, a lot of Ultron in both of these stories. That's what I got.
Awesome. About how old are these, both the series?
They are both newer than 2000.
Okay. All right, cool.
So they're in the last 20 years. Oh my gosh, that's been 20 years. Yeah. Age of Ultron, I think, came out about right before the movie, shortly before the movie, maybe a year. It's where they got the name for the movie, but the storyline's nothing like it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I didn't know
I
that.
mean, the Age of Ultron has a lot of Ultron in it.
Yes, it does.
I like it.
All right, well, that wraps us up for our weekly character review. Taking a look at Ultron. So, if you guys don't have the core set, or if you're thinking about getting the game, please get the core set. It's such a good value. All the characters we've looked at so far from it, they've all been good. So I can't.
Haven't even got
to
the best one yet.
Yeah, we haven't even got to the best character. I really recommend picking up the core set. It gives you everything that you need to play, and even if you don't want to get into anything else, at the moment you don't want to spend too much money or anything. It's just such good value. So If you guys don't own it, you should pick it up. But well, that's all from us for this week. I don't have anything else. Do you guys have anything else?
I think I'm good.
Can't think of anything.
I don't have anything.
All right. Well, until next week. I hope you guys have a good time playing your games. See you both on Wednesday. And talk to you guys later. Bye.
Hey, have a good one. Bye, guys.
Bye.